Gloucester, England, a cathedral city, ancient, beautiful, about to become infamous. 25 Cromwell Street, Gloucester, an ordinary house on an ordinary street. Much Marcle, Herefordshire, 1941. Frederick Walter Stephen West was born into this world. It would not make him good. One of 6 children, a rural family, a childhood that was not what it appeared. As a teenager, Fred West began displaying disturbing behavior. He was involved in incidents that should have been warnings. A motorcycle accident in 1958 left West with a metal plate in his skull. Those who knew him said he was never the same afterward. In 1961, West appeared in court for the first time. It would not be the last. The system saw him and let him go. Rosemarie Letts was born in 1953 in Devon, the daughter of a violent father, a childhood defined by fear. Her father was controlling and violent. Rose Letts grew up learning that cruelty was normal. Fred West met Rose Letts in 1969. He was 27, she was 15. He was exactly what her upbringing had prepared her to accept. Rose had Fred's child at 16. Her parents tried to intervene. She went back to him anyway. They married in 1972. In 1972, Fred and Rose West moved into 25 Cromwell Street. Fred extended the house himself, adding rooms, adding a cellar, building something. To the outside world, a large family, a busy house. Fred a builder, Rose a housewife. The neighbors found them unremarkable. Fred worked as a builder. He was charming to customers, good with his hands, a useful man to have around. The Wests began targeting young women and girls, runaways, students, hitchhikers, those who would not be immediately missed. Below the house, Fred dug, extended, built, a space that no ordinary home needed, a space built with intent. Complaints were made, warnings were missed, authorities visited the house, the children were returned each time. Young women began to disappear, one by one, quietly, each one a universe of connections and futures and love, gone. Anna McFall, 1967, the first, Fred's previous girlfriend, 8 months pregnant when she disappeared. Charmaine West, 1971, 8 years old, Fred's stepdaughter. Her own mother would not know what had happened for decades. Rena West, 1971, Fred's first wife, the mother of his children, disappeared from her own life without a trace. Lucy Partington, 1973, a university student, home for Christmas, waiting for a bus in Cheltenham. The disappearances continued, each one reported, each one filed, each one a family waiting for someone who would never come home. Carol Ann Cooper, 1973, 15 years old, leaving a cinema, she never reached home. Families spent Christmas wondering, waiting, calling hospitals, calling police, being told there was nothing to be done. Shirley Hubbard, 1974, 15 years old, returning home from a shopping trip, she never arrived. Juanita Mott, 1975, 18 years old, independent, creative, planning her future. Shirley Robinson, 1978, 18 years old, 8 months pregnant, living at 25 Cromwell Street. Allison Chambers, 1979, 17 years old, writing to her mother about a new job opportunity. The letter was the last contact. For over 20 years, the house held its secrets. The street went about its life. Nobody knew. Heather West, 1987, 16 years old. their own daughter, the child they raised, murdered by their own parents. Over the years, police visited the house multiple times, complaints, child welfare concerns. Each time, the Wests were convincing enough to be believed. The West children grew up in that house. Some would later describe what they witnessed, what they were asked to normalize. Years passed, winters came and went. The house stood, the secrets stayed underground. In 1992, the first cracks appeared. A daughter found the courage to report what had happened to her. The investigation began. Detective Constable Hazel Savage had long suspected Fred West. In 1992, she finally had something to work with. February 24, 1994, police arrived at 25 Cromwell Street with a warrant to search for the remains of Heather West. In the garden, remains. In the cellar, remains. Under the bathroom, remains. The house had been a grave. Forensic teams worked for weeks. The scale of what they found grew beyond what anyone had imagined was possible. Frederick West was arrested in April 1994. He was charged with murder. He began to confess. West confessed to 12 murders, then 13, then more. He led officers to sites they had not yet searched. In the fields near his childhood home in Herefordshire, more remains were found, the horror extending beyond the house itself. Rose West was arrested in April 1994. She denied everything. She would continue to deny everything for the rest of her life. When the story broke, Britain was in shock. The scale, the duration, the ordinary house on the ordinary street. Family by family, the notifications were made. Families who had wondered for decades finally learned the truth they had feared. Fred West remained in custody at HM Prison, Birmingham. He was due to stand trial. He would never stand trial. January 1, 1995, Fred West was found dead in his cell. He had taken his own life. He would never face his victims in a courtroom. The West children, some witnesses, some victims, all permanently marked by what happened in that house. Rose West stood trial alone in October 1995. She pleaded not guilty to all 10 counts of murder. The jury did not believe her. Guilty. 10 counts of murder. Rosemarie West was sentenced to life imprisonment. The judge recommended she never be released. In 1996, the house at 25 Cromwell Street was demolished. The site cleared, a memorial path built in its place. The memorial path, a place of quiet, where a house of horror stood, transformed but not forgotten. Rose West remains incarcerated at HM Prison Newhall. Every application for parole has been refused. She maintains her innocence. The survivors who spoke and the detective who believed them are the reason justice was possible. Their courage deserves recognition. 12 victims, 12 complete lives. Before their names, a moment of warmth for each of them. Anna McFall, approximately 18 years old. She was carrying Fred West's child. She deserved to be a mother. Charmaine West, 8 years old, a child in her own home who trusted the adults around her, as children must. Rena West, 27 years old, the mother of Charmaine, looking for her daughter, finding only death. Lucy Partington, 21 years old, a medieval studies student, a poet, a thinker. Her cousin is the novelist Martin Amis, who later wrote about her loss. Carol Ann Cooper, 15 years old, leaving a cinema, looking forward to the rest of her evening, of her life. Therese Siegenthaler, 21 years old, a sociology student from Switzerland, hitchhiking in England, far from home. Shirley Hubbard, 15 years old, Christmas shopping in Droitwich, the gifts never delivered, the giver never coming home. Juanita Mott, 18 years old, independent, creative, building her life. It was taken before it could be lived. Shirley Robinson, 18 years old, 8 months pregnant, 2 lives taken, both deserved to be counted. Allison Chambers, 17 years old, the last letter to her mother spoke of optimism, of a new beginning. She deserved that beginning. Heather West, 16 years old, their own daughter. The word betrayal is entirely insufficient for what was done to her. Anna, Charmaine, Rena, Lucy, Carol Ann, Therese, Shirley, Juanita, Shirley, Allison, Heather, and the unborn child of Shirley Robinson. 12 lives, 12 flames. The families waited, some for months, some for years, some for more than 20 years. The waiting itself was its own form of suffering. Detective Constable Hazel Savage, she had suspected Fred West for years. She kept pushing. Justice was possible because of her. Where the house stood, a garden of remembrance, a place of quiet where people come to remember. Gloucester is more than this story. The city continues. The beauty remains, as does the memory of those taken.
The detective who never
Anna
gave up.
McFall,
A strong
Charmaine
silhouette of
West,
justice and memory.
Rena West,
She believed the
Lucy
women,
Partington,
kept the case
Carol
alive when it
Ann
would have been
Cooper,
easier to file it
Therese
away.
Siegenthaler, Shirley Hubbard, Juanita Mott, Shirley Robinson, Allison Chambers, Heather West, and the unborn child of Shirley Robinson. Their names deserve to be spoken. The trial of Rosemary West lasted 3 weeks. The evidence was overwhelming. The jury took under 6 hours to find her guilty on all counts. Rosemary West became the first person in British legal history to receive a whole life tariff, meaning she will never be released. She is 70 years old. She remains in prison. The case generated an enormous cultural response. Books, documentaries, television dramas, the danger of turning horror into entertainment always present. Anne-Marie West, Fred's daughter, spoke publicly about what she survived. Her courage was extraordinary. Her testimony was crucial. The West case transformed child protection procedures in Britain. Multi-agency working improved. Information sharing between departments increased. It was not enough, but it was something. Criminologists and psychologists have studied the West case extensively. The question of how 2 people become capable of this has no simple answer. The study continues. Fred West died before answering all the questions. The full truth went with him. There may be victims who have never been found. That possibility remains open. The places where they came from, the childhoods that shaped them, damaged people who created more damage, the cycle that society has a responsibility to break. The memorial path blooms every spring. People walk it, leave flowers, remember names. The families of the victims have spent decades speaking the names that deserved to be spoken. Their strength and grace has been extraordinary. Rose West maintains her innocence to this day. She has never shown remorse. She has never helped families find answers. She remains cold. The whole life tariff applied to Rose West was later used for other perpetrators of the most serious crimes. Her case changed British law. The full truth of what happened at Cromwell Street was never fully established. Fred West's death ensured that. There may be more victims. The question remains open. 12 people, represented here not by how they died, but by how they lived, by what they loved, by what they were building. Anna, Charmaine, Rena, Lucy, Carol Ann, Therese, Shirley, Juanita, Shirley, Allison, Heather, and the unborn child of Shirley Robinson. 12 flames, never going out. The garden blooms. Spring comes every year, gotten. Their names, not his, not hers, theirs. These are the names that deserve to be remembered. Gloucester wakes every morning. The cathedral stands. The river runs. The garden remembers. The names are spoken. The light remains.